ಸೌರಭ್ ಬಂದ್ರಪ್ಪ ಸ್ಪೀಕರ್ಸ್?
ಇಲ್ಲ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, ವೇಟಿಂಗ್. ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಣ್ ಸರ್ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಇನ್ನೂ ರಿಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ. ನೂರಲ್ ಸರ್ ಕಾಯ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ.
ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಸರ್, ಒಮ್ಮೆ ಚಾಟ್ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ
ಸರ್. ಫೇಸ್ಬುಕ್ ಲೈವ್ ಇದೆ, ವಿ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಲೈವ್.
ಮನೆ ಎಷ್ಟೊತ್ತಿಗೆ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳು. ಸೌರಭ್,
ಎಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಅವರು ಲಂಡನ್ ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರು 6 o'clock ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರಂತೆ.
ಓಕೆ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, ಓಕೆ.
ಆರೂವರೆ ಲೇಟ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. Anandita ji?
Yeah, she's there, I think. She's already there.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Good evening, good evening. Hope all have come, except one speaker.
Sir, speaker, England speaker, around 6 o'clock they'll join, sir.
Okay, no problem. I heard that.
Yes, sir. ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ರು ಬರ್ಬೇಕು, ಅಸ್ಸಾಂ ಸ್ಪೀಕರ್. 15 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. 15 ಆಗಬೇಕಲ್ಲ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೆಂಟ್ಸ್.
Hello, who is the moderator? Let her start talking something.
Yes, sir. Mansi.
Keep on engaging everyone so that people will join.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Mansi.
Good evening, Mansi.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah. Good evening.
All right. To set the context of World Humanitarian Day, 19th August, that is today, 2020, marks the 11th year of World Humanitarian Day, as declared by the United Nations. This year, I think World Humanitarian Day comes as the entire world continues to fight the COVID-19 pandemic over recent months. The aid workers are overcoming unprecedented access hurdles to persist people in humanitarian crisis. So that's what is happening around the world, and that's why we have this event today. Before we move on to the session and open the session, there are a couple of things, there are a couple of requests that I would like to do among all the participants, please. I request the participants to please mute your mic at all times. If your internet is weak, please switch off your video so that we can continue to interact with you. You can please leave your questions in the chat box. Also, let's remind ourselves that the chat box is meant for Q&A only. Please refrain from spamming in the sense leaving your contact details there or giving links to some other websites and videos and all of that. Mr. Saurabh Jairam from the technical team will be monitoring the chat box and spammers will be removed from the session. That's a request from all of us. Thank you for this. Lata ma'am?
Yes, Mansi.
Yes, ma'am.
Please, you mention one more thing, that is a chat box, question and answer will be taken after all the speakers' talk is over, okay?
Yes, ma'am. So I request all of them. I'm sure this is going to be a wonderful session and all of you will have different questions to ask us. So I request all of you to please leave your questions in the chat box. And these questions will be taken up at the end of the session, depending on the timings. Another request is we request all of you to please name yourselves accordingly. Please use your official name so that we know who it is. A couple of you logging in with different names or probably using the phones. The model of the phones will confuse us a little bit. So we request all of you to please use your official names for the chat.
Saurabh?
Yes, ma'am.
ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ರವಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ನುರಲ್ ಸರ್ 10 minutes ವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದಾರಂತೆ, ಇನ್ ಮಾಡಪ್ಪ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ.
ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಯಾರ್ಯಾರು ವೈಟಿಂಗ್ ಇದಾರೋ ಅವ್ರು ಆಗ್ಲೇ ಅಲೋ ಮಾಡಿ ಆಗೋಗಿದೆ.
ಇಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ, ಅವ್ರು ವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದಾರಂತೆ, 10 minutes ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದಾರೆ.
ಯಾರು ವೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಮೇಡಮ್,
ಯಾರು ಇಲ್ಲ.
ನೋ ಒನ್ ವೇಟಿಂಗ್.
ಇಲ್ಲ, ನುರಲ್ ಸರ್ ಮತ್ತೆ
ಅವರು ಬೇರೆ 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 ಐಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಲಾಗಿನ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು, ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡೋದು.
ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಆಗ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ ಮಾಡಿ.
ಅಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ನಾಗಕ್ಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಯಾರು ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಇನ್ನ ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ.
ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಓಪನ್.
ಲಿಂಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿದೆ.
ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ನೀವು?
ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಣ್ ಸರ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಣ್ ಸರ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಬಟ್ ಇವರಪ್ಪ
ನುರುಲ್ ಸರ್.
ಲಿಂಕ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಮೇಡಮ್, ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಒಳ್ಳೇದು. ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ನೂ ಇದ್ದೀವಲ್ಲ, ಲಿಂಕ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವ್ದೋ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವರು ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ.
ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡಿ, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀರಾ?
ಲಿಂಕ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾನೆ.
ಅವರು ಎಫ್ ಬಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಡ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ, ಎಫ್ ಬಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗ್ಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ.
ಫೇಸ್ಬುಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗೋದ್ ಬೇಡ. ಝೂಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ
Tell Manasi to do that.
ಸೌರಭ್, ನೂರಲ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಪ್ಪ ಒಂದ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ.
ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್. Lata ma'am, Nurul sir, I just spoke to Nurul sir. He has used the Facebook link and he's sitting over. I've told him to join in via Zoom.
Okay. ಅವರು ಫೇಸ್ಬುಕ್ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ರವಿ ಪ್ರಕಾಶ್ ಅವರು ಹೇಳೋರಿಗೆ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿ.
ಝೂಮ್ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡುವ, ಫೇಸ್ಬುಕ್ ಬೇಡ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಓಕೆ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಟಾಕಿಂಗ್.
Hansi?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you please tell that speakers has to maintain the time and all. Mansi, regarding timing.
Yes, ma'am. We request the speakers to maintain the timings because there are a lot of people who already have a lot of questions. The posters were out and everybody wanted to have a question and ask you that. So we could set the context in about 120 to 150 seconds of the beginning, and then we can move to the question and answers where all of the participants can openly ask you questions, and we're going to pick it up from the chat box and ask you those questions. This would mean that there's a lot of interactivity and engagement. So we request all the speakers to please maintain time. This would also ensure that other speakers get their time to talk about their topic. Thank you so much for this.
Bandram. Sir, namaste. Sir, Jairam sir. Jairam sir. Sir, shall we start, sir?
Yeah, please,
Okay,
go
sir.
ahead.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir. Warm good evening to everyone. This is Dr. Lata, Chairperson PRCI Bangalore Chapter. Welcome to all the esteemed participants, distinguished guests, and office bearers. It's time now to start the webinar. Let us spread the word of humanity. You must not lose faith in humanity. Humanity is an ocean. If a few drops of the ocean are dirty, the ocean does not become dirty. These are the words of one of the world's greatest humanitarian, Mahatma Gandhi. World Humanitarian Day is an international day dedicated to recognize humanitarian personnel and those who have lost their lives working for humanitarian causes. We are in the midst of challenges never before faced by humanity across the globe. We are paying special tribute to real-life heroes in these extreme circumstances. We believe that humanity has the power to unite and ignite the change. WCC, PRCI, and YCC are jointly celebrating World Humanitarian Day through this international webinar. The power of humanity is the strength of individual commitment and the force of collective action to define and redefine what it means to be a human. Any action or thought arising from our mind is considered as human activities. If it's done from soul, it is considered as humane activities. The theme of today's webinar is Humanity, Language of the Soul. During this pandemic, humanity has occupied a very important place in our life. Actions of kindness, empathy, benevolence, and compassion have increased. Humanity is critical for our survival and continuous growth as humans. As quoted by Albert Einstein, indeed, it is not intellect, but intuition which advances humanity. Intuition tells man his purpose and in his life. On this background, I welcome the soul of PRCI, Mr. Jairam sir, Chief Emeritus and Chief Mentor, without whom nothing ever happens. Mrs. Geeta Shankar, most vibrant lady in command, National Head YCC, Dr. T. Vinay Kumar, National President of PRCI, Mr. JP Rao, Zonal Chairman, all the chapters of PRCI, WCC, YCC, National Executive, GC, EC members, Team Bangalore, and other respected participants, and most importantly, our super speakers. Mr. Lakshman Pant from Nepal, Mr. Tony Michael Gomes from Bangladesh, Dr. Ravi Prakash from England, Mr. G.S. Bawa from Delhi, Mr. Nurul Laskar from Guwahati, Mr. Anjali Ramanna, and Mr.
Lata ma'am, can you hear us? Lata ma'am? All right, looks like a technical glitch. So welcome to all the speakers and welcome to all the participants and the members of WCC, PRCI and YCC. Thank you so much for being here. This is quite an inspiration and this is very, very encouraging. With that, we move on to Ms. Anidita Sinha. Ma'am, I request you to please introduce us to WCC.
Hi, good evening, everyone. It's really been my pleasure, my honor that I've been invited here in this webinar with all the stalwarts of the fraternity as speakers and my fellow chairpersons, across the chapters. Our most respected Chairman Emeritus, Mr. Jairam is there. Mr. Geeta, I can't see everyone, but T. Vinay Kumar sir is there. But good evening to everyone who's present in the webinar today. And thank you for the opportunity. I have 2 minutes with me only, and I'll try to stick on to the time. So World's Communication Council. Now, before I start with it, today being the World Humanitarian Day, so the sole meaning of life should be to serve humanity, as Leo Tolstoy had said. Now there are different ways of serving the serving humanity. So it is not only through compassion and care, but also to enriching the experience and to develop the professional and personal self of an individual through learning and development. So imparting knowledge which gives someone the empowerment, because how a person can be empowered other than many aspects is definitely one of them, to enrich themselves on education, learning, development, and also that brings your empowerment and the confidence in someone to make you a complete individual. So today on this World Humanitarian Day, our aim should be to work towards the betterment of the humanity. And this can come through education, empowerment. When we talk about empowerment, which is the key to progress of self and the country, because if we are learned, the country can grow. So learning and development skills at the zenith, we all know. Definitely, there is no doubt about it. And WCC, World Communication Council, can be the one-stop solution or destination in this regard, uniting a diverse world together under one platform for networking, for knowledge sharing, for personal and professional development, all in one package is what WCC can offer you. So this collective effervescence, which means that everyone together on the same page with one vision and mission, can only rightly justify the motto of WCC, which is communicating for a better world. And YCC can be the lighthouse to steer you through the path of communication, be it any field of communication, be it public, your media relation, be it branding, communication, social media, digital media, which is the in thing now, and be it advertisement, be it event management, any field of communication. It's for you to get steered by WCC so that it can enrich yourself as a professional. And why I'm connecting both, to the humanitarian aspect of it is, when you are filled with substantial thing, you definitely are a better human being, because the clutter with you unnecessary which develops in you out of idle mind moves away, out of ignorance which develops in you is has no space for it. So, and the reason, it's promoted by PRCI, WCC is doing very, very strong. It is, it's not only a knowledge sharing, but it gives you the training and development also for an individual. So anyone who chooses the path of communication, any vertical of it, I think there cannot be a better subject than or a body than YCC. Commendably, already 4 chapters they are open at UAE, Dubai, Dubai in UAE, Sri Lanka, Dhaka, Nepal, and I'm very, very happy to say that Bhutan and London is all ready. So 3 cheers to WCC, of course, under PRCI, promoted by PRCI. and of course the YCC. So I think, all the members who are of this family, of this fraternity of YCC, PRCI, WCC, can leverage the importance, the essence of this platform to develop yourself as a better individual, as a better professional. So the vision and mission of WCC, as is to each country will maintain its own identity as part of WCC. The rules and regulations, I will not go to each and every point of it, which will take at least 15 minutes of it. But the endeavor is to set up these chapters across the world to coordinate with the PRCI core committee consisting of Chairman Emeritus, then Chairman of Governing Council, National Executive President, Secretary General, Chairperson of YCC, and of course, Director International. So all this extremely knowledgeable, experienced people are there to steer you as your mentor. So basically, it's a mentoring platform, and you have no dearth of mentors here. And I think everyone who can be part of WCC can. There is no end to learning. There won't be any end to learning, because it will facilitate the various country chapters to hold global conclaves, annual awards, seminars, panel discussions, and participation of key personalities. So networking comes here. So and we know that in today's date, nothing can work more than networking. It is the most essential thing, and especially for a communication personnel, to develop himself as a good networked individual. So it will, you get to know all these important people from international, folks from the country and internationally also.
Looks like a technical glitch. Looks like a technical glitch. So Anindita, thank you so much. For those of you who are viewing, Anindita is the Hyderabad chapter head. Thank you so much, Anindita.
Was I audible at all?
Yes, thank you so much for that. I mean, I think you've summed it up so well. We are foraying into the global path to bring together communication professionals under one roof. It is so exciting for all of us. Thank you so much for this, Anindita.
Suddenly I got a message that I should unmute myself. So I'm not sure whether I was heard. Anyway, the dearth of time, we can speak later.
Thank you so much, Anindita. That was crisp, precise. Thank you. With that, we move on, and the spotlight now is on Mr. Ashish Tayal. Mr. Ashish, I request you to please come in and introduce PRCI to the people who are viewing.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mansi. Good evening to our Chief Mentor and Chairman Emeritus, Mr. M.B. Jairam sir, National President, Mr. T. Vinakumar sir, Chairperson YCC, Ms. Geeta Shankar ma'am, our Governing Council, National Council members, Zonal Heads, Chapter Chairmen, our Honorable PRC and YCC members, Honorable Speakers of this evening, Baba sir especially. Friends, I am thankful to the organizer of this webinar for giving me this opportunity to present a brief about Public Relations Council of India on this auspicious occasion of World Humanitarian Day celebration. Friends, the journey of PRCI began on 3rd March 2004 from its headquarters in Bangalore, broadly to enrich professional development and to provide networking opportunities to PR, media, advertising, Marcom professionals and students. PRCI is marching ahead with a vision to be a one-stop global knowledge powerhouse in the fields of mass communication for professionals, educationists, researchers, and students. And our mission is to integrate communication organizations and professionals globally for sharing knowledge, breaking barriers and frontiers, both physical and mental, and contribute to exchange of experiences and ideas to communicate for the better world. Today, PRCI is having 38 chapters across the country, and we have who is who from the fraternity on board with us. PRCI keeps on organizing various knowledge sharing and networking programs, and so far, 14 global communication conclaves have been organized. PRCI organizes national and regional level events like conferences, discussions, lectures, training programs for sharing experiences and facilitate continuing education of like-minded professionals. We promote the concept of Daughter's Day, the World Communicators Day, social communication, green is forever, and we have a huge expert guest faculty pool with us. We also facilitate internship for students. PRCI also facilitates industry achievers with its international and national signature awards under the Chanakya series, and it is the only communication body to welcome and usher this industry professionals into PR Hall of Fame. Our much sought after collateral awards help promote talent. We are available on social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and our current website is being revamped, which would be available soon to the visitors across the globe. I would love to inform that to uplift and connect the fraternity in a better way, few new initiatives have been taken by the Council. PRCA is under the way of preparing a directory of PR professionals. This would be one of its kind initiative in the country. And the Council has introduced the concept of APR, Accreditation of PR Professionals, and FPR, Fellow of Public Relations. Soon this would be implemented, and all here are requested to take benefit of these initiatives. We publish quarterly magazine Chanakya for networking with its members and serve as a vehicle for sharing knowledge and experience. YCC publishes its quarterly magazine, Quarterly magazine, for the youth and carries mainly the articles and achievements of the YCC students. We also have 24/7 online publication PR Repo. The council has been further bifurcated into 5 zones: East, West, North, South, and Central zones. The zones take care and develop the chapters reporting to them. Later, looking at the global networking requirements, World Communicators Council came into existence, which has been just briefed. We are now spreading globally and having presence over 5 other countries apart India, and ambitiously planning to move in 4 other countries soon. We have our Young Communicators Club, which would be elaborated in detail by Ms. Bitha Sadanand, our EC member of Bangalore chapter. Handing over to Ms. Bitha Sadanand, please. Thank you so much. Ms. Bitha Sadanand, please.
Bitha, are you around? Can you hear us? Can you please come in? Pinging
Yes.
Bitha, please.
Can you hear me? Am I
Yes,
audible,
please.
please? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. The Public Relations Council of India's YCC, which is the acronym for Young Communicators Club, is the youth and student wing of PRCI. YCC's mission statement is to represent the youth community in the country from all fields of society under a single non-political, non-governmental umbrella to help all effectively communicate to the society, bring in leadership movement, and help each other become good, responsible citizens of the country. The primary objective of YCC is to make students good human beings, alert, aware, and responsible citizens who will be an asset to the country. YCC aims to bridge the gap between academics, corporate world, and society that helps all become corporate ready, knowledgeable, responsible professionals. YCC is a platform that will provide wings to students' innovative ideas and ambitions to ensure the future of the world is safe in the hands of well-groomed industry leaders who are healthy, well-adjusted, considerate citizens. Benefits for students registered with YCC are as follows. Students will get a well-recognized, larger social and professional platform of communicators and PR professionals under the aegis of PRCI. Students get a highly valued commendation or certificate after completing at least a year that would adorn their CVs and will help them in the professional world later. YCC is managed and run by students themselves under the watchful eyes and professional guidance of senior professionals. This helps in nurturing talents and grooming responsible leaders to lead the society with respect and dignity. I now hand over the spotlight to Manasi KG, who will be our first moderator. Manasi KG is an independent communications consultant, coach, and trainer with 15 plus years of experience in digital media that encompasses strategy and plan, social media, online reputation management, and web analytics, and corporate communication, which encompasses PR, public and media relations, internal communications, employee relations. Manasi will be introducing us to our first guest speaker for the day. Over to you, Manasi.
Thank you so much, Vita. Thank you so much for that. Mr. Bava, request you to please respond if you're hearing me. Mr. Bava, pinging you for a response, please. Mr. Bava, can you hear me? Mr. Bava?
It is okay now.
Okay, perfect. So let me
Right.
just
I
quickly start
wanted
with
your
this.
permission to unmute, so that's why.
Right. Okay. So mostly known to us as Mr. G.S. Bawa, Mr. Gurmukh Singh Bawa has served in the civil aviation industry for over 2 decades that incorporated economic and corporate planning and civil aviation training. He was the general manager at the Airports Authority of India, that's the AAI, the officer on special duty at the Airport Economic Regulatory Authority of India, and also a staff officer to chairman at the International AAI. He is also the former head of public relations department at the AAI. During his tenure, AAI saw many firsts in corporate PR, such as policy documentation, new talent induction processes, airport lounge magazines, global communication vehicle for technical content on civil aviation in the industry. There's a difference between following perfection, calling oneself as a perfectionist, but Mr. Bawa has gone a step ahead. He says on his Facebook bio, aviation is a passion to me, and this zero tolerance profession enables us to rise above, which means for him, perfection is a habit and not a hobby. Welcome, Mr. Bawa. I request you to please set the context for today's topic, unleashing power of humanity in the corporate world.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Man is known by the company he keeps. So today I feel proud that I am in the company with which I will be highlighted and enlightened more than what I am going to give. So that's the greatness. Having heard the address from everybody, you feel proud what the organization is. So without wasting time in formalities and adding adjectives, I must help. As and when anything big happens, one should always take ensure that there are a big person behind it, and only then it is happening and successful. Thank you very much for the nice introduction and motivating me to work further in life. Thank you very much. You're recognizing, and I'm very happy that you've gone deep into studying my profile into Facebook, and I had written that with a purpose, and good you have caught it. Thank you very much, madam. Good evening, friends. Happy World Humanitarian Day to you all. It is my bad habit that I always start a subject from the root. Even if I have to go a little deeper, I start from the root. So I always start from the etymology. So if etymology of humanity has to be looked into, this indicates that the word humanity is derived from the Latin humanitas. That stands for human nature and kindness. Thus, humanity includes all the humans, and we can extend it to other living beings too. Humanity includes the kind feelings that humans often have for each other, rather towards animals also, and nature too. So humanity and caring are two sides of the same coin. So this is the word humanity, how I perceive it. Then the corporate world, humanity in the corporate world, it is very dicey statement. Corporate, be it big or small, means business, and businesses runs on the principle of profit. They work for the profit, and their profit comes first. As such, to many, humanity is the antithesis of businesses. Popular quote we speak in Hindi, घोड़ा अगर घास से दोस्ती कर लेगा तो क्या खाएगा, भूखा ही मरेगा. Or what will the tiger eat if it is be friendly with the lamb? What that means? That means that we should not mix businesses with the humanity. But the topic is, it's not that topic is not appropriate. Topic is very much appropriate. When we look into the research work, when we look into the feelings and deliverables from the humans, thinkers tell us customers come first even in business. And taking that customer first perspective first, we give value to what customer expresses and why he expresses and what is the importance of that to our business. Until and unless we have derived that, we cannot move further. Mahatma Gandhi said, customer is the God, or customer is the king in our process. No matter how much a customer buys or does a business for which we are dealing, it is about listening and acknowledging their feelings and showing the intentions of each and every customer all the time from beginning till end. That is very important. And once we start looking into that, the humanity factor comes into being, and that makes a business very successful. We will dwell on during the given time period. Empathy in corporate world demands that you use the stethoscope to listen. It is not only the doctors who need a stethoscope. Nowadays, even we are using this stethoscope-like equipment. So everybody needs a stethoscope to listen the precise meaning of the word which somebody is saying, and try to feel them, and also try to go behind the scenario which is happening around you. If you want to do humanity, you will have to listen properly, and you have to go behind the scene. And I am here reminded of a popular song, Choli ke piche kya hai. Why that song became so popular? It is simply because that touched the heart, that touched the soul of people. That's why it was so popular. So when you do such kind acts, you win over the masses altogether. Yes, it involves taking out time and efforts. Without doing that, you cannot progress further. Efforts have to be made consistently. Even if the interaction is less than 2 minutes, it will be remembered for long times to come. And how to run the virtuous cycle of humanity. The virtual cycle of humanity, or we call the big I, it may start even the blink of an eye. इसे आंखों आंखों में जो इशारे हो जाते हैं वो लंबी बात कहने से भी ज्यादा मजबूत रहते हैं. So the blink of eye sometimes works wonders, and simple thank you and a smile does it beyond the wonders. So building a healthy and caring society to continue with the virtuous cycle of humanity, it is important to show gratitude to anyone who demonstrate humanity to us. It has to be mutually bilateral. Now, extending further, expressing empathy in the business sense, to me, it is a win-win situation. It is win-win for the managers as well as for the employees. How? Empathy is positively related to job performance. All statistics, all research has proved it once for all. Managers who show more empathy towards employees who directly report to them are viewed as better performers in their job by their bosses. Further, if it is consistently maintained, empathic leaders are rewarded with greater employee loyalty. It provides them the longevity in their career, longevity in that organization we are working, and they also provide longevity in their lifespan. And more importantly, they are viewed as splendid human beings. So being humanitarian is a great extent is acting beyond the given scope of mandate. You will have to travel extra mile. You will have to give more than what you are paid for. I am reminded once a teacher told me when I was a student, he was very kind to us. And then he told me, a teacher once told me that if I am teaching you, I am just doing a job. But if I inquire your well-being, and if you inquire the well-being of your family, and if I contribute to well-being, I am humanitarian. So for humanitarian, you have to act beyond, right? So empathy makes the business process more sustainable, thereby making the situation a win-win for all involved humanitarian acts. Now, coming to the business empire. Now we know that every business empire is set up because of capital expenditure. We buy big equipment, we invest a lot, and everybody who has invested, he is concerned about that. But remember, we know that our car will work better if we are using proper lubricant. Our equipment will work better if we have used or repaired them on periodically. What about humans? Humans are humans. Many people call them human resource. Human is no more a resource. Humans are humans. They are not machines. And humans perform better if they feel concerned, connected, and appreciated. Not once, again and again, periodically. An effective manager must share his appreciation and gratitude to employees on time-to-time basis, on regular basis, consistently and continuously. Does that mean humanity has got no challenges? Is very easy? No, it's not very easy. We are happy being an Indian, being having gone through our culture and heritage, we are blessed. Our genes are very strong so far as the humanity is concerned. But the challenges are coming. The coming challenges are in the form of digitization and artificial intelligence. It is being seen as a threat to humanitarian. But we shall remember there are humans behind each computer and each machine, and they are making those machines to work for themselves. And to my mind, it is not a threat. Rather, could be a boon if used and deployed in a synergic manner. If there could be a symbiotic relationship between two entities, then who stops to have a symbiotic relationship between a man and the machine made by the man? It is possible. Thus, the future businesses shall look for effective deployment of artificial intelligence and digitization of processes, particularly that directly impact the customer, the employees interaction level. But there is a caution. I must mention that. And the caution is pure digitization has high withdrawal rate. This might have come to our part of the world new, but has already been tested abroad. And there are repulsions of that. It is as high as up to 85 to 90% withdrawal rate. Thus, go for blended digitization or hybrid digitization. We should not forget the physical contact, the artificial intelligence, digital, like we are interacting today. That doesn't mean that we don't need to meet forever now, times to come. So we have to continue. I think my time limit, I have crossed my time limit, but thank you for accepting, not interrupting me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think that was wonderful. I love the way where you talked about humanity when it comes to customer and the internal public, that's the employees, and how you put a context where, you know, business is meant for profit and how our empathy and sensitivity in business at a time like this is a must. So you've spoken about, I mean, I'm asking these questions because the moment you started this, I'm flooded with questions as the moderator. So when you're talking about employees, on the other hand, you're talking about customers. And I think April and May has seen change in leadership most of the places, considering the way business has to be done, where you also talked about empathy and sensitivity. So how do we accelerate humanity in the workplace more than ever? That's the first question that we have from the audience.
The tools or the things which I mentioned, if you apply them more rigorously and vigorously, I think it will get accelerated. But still, since you have asked a question, I must apply my mind how this can be done more accelerating manner. In the first place, you must believe that whatever you have conceived, whatever you have planned, you want to do, you must believe in that. If you want to do a humanitarian act, first of all, that confidence should be in you. It will automatically get accelerated. It will derive the result. So no one will join you for the purpose of just joining. You will have to demonstrate, and only then people will join you. अकेले तो चलने से काम नहीं होगा, काफिला बन जाएगा जब आप शुरू करेंगे. With this conviction and determination, you march forward, and you will be very successful. And when it comes to delivery on the modern day, technology has given us a very good tool that networking has become very easy. You can really demonstrate your empathy 24/7 basis because of this social media, etc. That you must do it. And the golden rule is you must respect the other person, their beliefs, and then you will get in return what you will get. You will be respected. So that will accelerate the humanity process.
Perfect.
And another thing, give me a second. I also want to complete. You must remove the fear, anger, or the hatred amongst the person with whom you are dealing. Once you remove that, I am sure it will be highway. You will accelerate, humanity acceleration will be non-stoppable. Thank you.
That's fantastic, sir. Thank you so much for those insights and opinions. I think that forms the guide to all of us in this session. We now proceed to the next session that is handled by Prashant Venugopal. Prashant, could you please come in? Pinging for Prashant, please respond. Can you hear us? Are you in? Prashant? Could you please come on board? All right, looks like Prashant has a technical glitch. So we will move on to the next moderator. That is the next session from Smita Venkatesh. Smita, are you in? Pinging you for this, please. Can you hear us? Smita? Ms. Smita Venkatesh, pinging you.
Yes, yes.
Great, great, awesome. Ms. Smita is an EC member at PRCI. I hand over the spotlight to Ms. Smita for the next session, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Mansi. Good evening, everybody. And hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
we can hear you loud and
Yes.
clear. Thank you so much, ma'am.
I have the pleasure of introducing our next speaker this evening. That is Mr. Nurul Laskar Saab. Sir, can you hear me? Nurul, sir? Nurul, sir, can you hear me? Hello.
It looks like there is a technical glitch here.
My phone was muted by your end. Now it's okay.
Yes, sir. Welcome, sir. Nurul Islam Laskar is the first PR practitioner from the Northeast to have a postgraduate degree in PR. A topper at Guwahati University and a gold medalist at graduation, Nurul is the founder chairperson of the Public Relations Council of India Guwahati chapter and is also known to have set up the first PR agency in Northeast India, that is Catsford PR in 2002. A winner of the Excellence Award in Community Leadership by ERD Foundation, Guwahati, Nurul Laskar has contributed to print media as consulting editor in the Sentinel and executive editor in Eastern Chronicle. Sir has a great passion for environment. Looks like the year 2020 has been declared as my year by nature. The whole world has come to a standstill by an invisible, elusive thing, the infamous coronavirus. An extreme step taken by the nature to pause the wheel of developmental destruction set in motion by mankind. Sir, your perception on this context of humanity and environment. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. I think I'm audible.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Okay, now the whole outlook, whole concept of what was with us 6 months back and what it is today has completely changed. One small virus has not only changed our outlook, it has changed our lifestyle. It has changed everything around us. And I think it has compelled us to look at things afresh. And those of us who are conscious citizens on earth, I think it is a pointer to us that life cannot continue to go on like it was going on for so many years. It's time to take a relook and readjust our clocks accordingly. Now, I am often asked, what is the future of global humanity? I think this question makes most of us very pessimistic. At least I get very pessimistic because when I was studying the observation of different life scientists, I learned that more than 99.9% of all species which ever lived on this earth have all become extinct. More than 99% of all species whichever had lived on this earth, maybe starting from the dinosaur to all such other animals, 99.9% of all species, mammals, plants, have all become extinct. So it is only utopian, or it's just a dream to think that mankind will be everlasting, they will be there always. Men also may or will become extinct one day. But the point is not that. as long as we live on this earth, we have to live with good health, with human dignity, and without jeopardizing the existence of all other living beings. This is one lesson I think this coronavirus is giving us with a lot of focus, lot of strength, and lot of emphasis. Now, as long as we live, we have to find out what are the challenges that affect the life on earth, life especially of human beings. These challenges are population growth, unchecked population growth, climate change, pollution of all kinds. It could be air pollution, it could be water pollution, it could be environmental pollution as a whole, and food security, among many other challenges that we face today. So all these challenges have to be addressed in order to ensure that our life becomes better. And many of the things which so long we have been thinking was so very essential for us, actually are not essential. That again we have learned from this pandemic. We can do without visiting shopping malls. We can do without going to the cinema access. We can do without eating in a big restaurant. And we can do with a lot of things. I have not bought new clothes during the last 6 months. I have not visited a haircut parlor, a haircutting salon for the last 6 months, and life goes on. I think I look quite presentable without all that. And I have even realized that my shirt may not be pressed. I need not spend time on ironing my clothes to be presentable. So a lot of things which we thought was so essential are not very essential. But spending time with people who are important in my life, in our life, our family members, our society, helping out others, and then helping the environment, because my topic is given as humanity and environment, so I'll just focus on environment. So now the previous speaker was mentioning about the root of the word humanity. I'll go to the root of the celebration of World Humanitarian Day. It was the year 2009. 22 humanitarian workers died in a bomb blast in Baghdad at the United Nations headquarters in Iraq, including the chief of the Human Rights Commission. And from that day onwards, from the following year, the United Nations has been celebrating the World Humanitarian Day. Who are the humanitarians? Anyone who is working for humanity. To start with, it could be, workers who would be working for humanitarian causes. But today it is anybody who works for the betterment of human beings. And it is obvious that when you work for the betterment of humanity, you also have to work for everything else on which humanity is dependent. It could be all the flora, fauna, the air, water, the atmosphere. Everything is related. They are connected. So anybody who works for the betterment of the atmosphere, of the environment, of the ecology is a person who is a humanitarian. So it is a day for all of us. So on World Humanitarian Day, we have to identify the challenges, the most important challenges before humanity, and address them. And in this, the senior citizens and the young people and the adults all have to work together. The senior people have their experience with them, and the young people have their energy with them. So like a good car, which should have a very good accelerator, should also have a good brake. The senior people, the senior citizens could work as the brake, and the young generation could work as the accelerator. And together, they could address all the issues that challenge the existence of humanity, that challenge the environment, and they have to work together. Now, when you go to the specific issues of pollution, air, water, and other pollution, One of the main contributor to air pollution are the vehicles and the industries. So it is time for the manufacturers of all cars, all the major car manufacturing industries of the world. It's time for them to earmark a good portion of their profit every year to be used for controlling air pollution. Similarly, industries also have to do the same thing. Now, water pollution, though this is a global seminar, global webinar, I would like to focus on our country as far as water pollution is concerned. In our country, most of the rivers are treated as goddesses. Ganga is Mata, Yamuna is Mata, all the rivers are our mothers and we worship them. But what is the ground reality? All our sewerage, all our effluents from the factories, all end up in the river. Even when we build houses, unlike most of the European countries, the back of our house faces the river, not the front. And all the garbage, all the dirt that comes out of the house through the drain ends up in the river. This mindset has to change. If the rivers are our mothers, we must treat them as our mother. Now, it's never too late. Many countries have made a turnaround. We talk about the ozone layer. It was depleting. And if the ozone layer is not there, many of the harmful rays from outside the atmosphere would come and affect us. Our living would become difficult. But it is a very heartening and very encouraging fact that from the year 2000, a lot of... Somebody said something. Okay. A lot of improvement has taken place in the ozone layer. And this improvement is showing up in the coming years also. So there is no reason to lose hope. When we talk about agriculture, the word agriculture gives us a picture of green plantation and this thing, greenery around, and we think it is not doing much harm. It does a lot of direct and indirect pollution in our atmosphere, in our environment. The stubble burning in and around Delhi is a major issue. Everybody knows about it. How much pollution it does to the air. It's not unknown. Indirect. Now, all the fertilizers that is used in the fields, they end up in the rivers and they also cause a lot of harm to the fertility of the soil. So, as far as possible, we should go for organic fertilizers rather than chemical fertilizers. And more indirect effect of fertilizer is the example we recently had in Lebanon, Beirut. Huge stock of ammonium nitrate was stored up near the port in Beirut. And they were brought to Lebanon to be used as fertilizer in the agricultural fields of Lebanon. But what did we see? It's just the other day, such a huge explosion took place that shook the entire edifice of the government, and it has affected the life of every Lebanese living in that country, everybody living in Lebanon. So if not dealt with properly, it can cause huge harm to people. Lastly, I'll talk about the harm done by oil sector to the environment. One raging fire which has been going on for nearly 3 months in my home state, Assam, that's in Bagjan oil fields in Upper Assam, not very far from the city of Dibrugarh. Due to mishandling of the oil well, a huge fire broke out, and in spite of bringing experts from many developed countries who are supposed to be aware of the methods of controlling such fires, nothing practical has happened on the field. A lot of people have been uprooted from their home and hearth. A lot of people have lost their lives, and untold damage has been done to the environment. This is one example. And we don't know when this fire will be controlled. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, one major oil tanker broke into 2 pieces near Mauritius. It has done untold harm to the environment of Mauritius, and probably the damage it has done to the seashore and the sea waters around Mauritius, that tourism industry on which Mauritius depend so much may not be back to normal in another 10 years. So I can go on and on, but today our time is limited. I'll only appeal to all the participants here to understand the severity of our lack of concern for our environment, and it is high time we become more aware, and I think PRCI can take a lead in organizing many awareness camps so that every person in the family, every person in the society, every person in the state and the country becomes aware of her and his role in preserving the ecology, in improving the environment, so that life for us becomes better and life for our coming generations also becomes even better than what it is for us today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Yes, you have brought a very vital point here, that yes, we need to pause and we need to take stock. Just on 8th of August, there was a major ice shelf which succumbed to the global warming. That is, it broke into pieces. That is the hot air up and the warm water down, and the coral reefs of Mauritius. Yes, time for us to think over, because if we do not stop now, there will be more coronas invading our lives and threatening our life on this planet itself. Thank you very much, sir. Now I would like to hand over to the next moderator, that is Prashant Venugopal. Prashant Venugopal is a communication scholar and a very dynamic secretary of YCC Bangalore chapter, and a very proactive person. Prashant.
Thank you so much, ma'am. As Baba sir mentioned, human is human, value the resource, but first understand that resource is invented by human. And as Nurul sir mentioned, respect human at the same time, consider nature as your family. Beautiful takeaway from both of them. This makes me to invite the next interesting person, Mr. Lakshman Datta. Sir, hope you are around.
Yeah, I'm in.
Thank you, sir. So I take pride in welcoming Mr. Lakshman Datta, who's a chairperson of Media Action Nepal, a well-known media researcher, journalist, freedom of expression advocate. He started his career as a radio journalist 2 decades ago and worked with numerous media institutions in different capacities, ranging from a reporter to an editor. And sir, who works with various international institutions, has worked on different capacities, especially in strategizing and framing laws to protect the rights of journalists. And Pant is one of the editor and author of the study supporting safety of journalists in Nepal, an assessment based on UNESCO's Journalist Safety Indicator, published in 2016. With vast exposure, I take pride in welcoming Mr. Pant. And once again, I request sir to talk about visual communication and its impact on humanity.
Well, thank you, Prashant. It is my pleasure to join the distinguished panel and the platform of PRCI, its sister wings, World Communicators Council, YCC. I'm also leading World Communicators Council Nepal chapter, established last year, and we have been organizing several webinars related to media and communications. I'm so happy that the earlier guests have shared on different dimensions of the humanitarian works. I would focus on the role of visual medium, with particular focus on how media can contribute towards the global humanitarian crisis. This day, the International Humanitarian Day, is today commemorated among crises, the unprecedented global humanitarian crisis that has affected the lives of all people across the world. And when it comes to the role of any medium, forget a visual medium at the moment, when it comes to the role, media or the media outlets can play a role. But there is always question whether media should limit its role to considering the ethical standards set up within the newsroom settings. But then everyone talks about the role of media, be it visual communication, radio or TV, or the technology, the journalism practiced backed by multimedia technology, the presence of the convergence media, that of internet, World Wide Web, social media and everything. People talk about the role of media, but media has certain obligations towards the humanitarian crisis as well. In developing world like ours, in this South Asia, Southeast Asian countries, we often look into the power of media instead of role, because there is diversity. There are many people, deprived of their rights. So people often talk about the power of media. How can media empower people during the time of crisis? But through this discussion, this talk, I would focus on how can visual medium that has a larger role to play, contribute towards the humanity, the welfare of mankind. Media is well known, the communication channels are well known, any type of communications, starting from print to internet revolution, contribute towards the positivity and the constructive dialogues in our society. But given that visual medium have power to interactivity, it could help persuade people at the time of crisis resulting from the conflict. But today we are facing unprecedented crisis resulting from a pandemic, coronavirus. So the majority of, one need to understand that the majority of people respond very quickly to visual communications, be it images or that of the visuals, that instead of the text. A study by Buffer Social in 2014 suggests that the power of visuals in modern communication is irrefutable. In the world of social media, visual content is 40 times more likely to get shared, and articles that feature an image every 70 to 100 words receive double the social media shares than those with the text alone. We have seen in our continent, in this South Asian region, during the time of several natural disasters, last 2015 earthquake in Nepal, or the tsunami in the Indian subcontinent around 2004-05, that the images displayed by the TV channels over their outlets helped people reconnect, and that is spread the message of humanity around. But then when it comes to the role, I would suggest with the four specific roles that any type of medium and in general, and the visual medium, that of the radio and television, and the convergence over internet and social media could contribute towards the great cause of humanity. The strategic visual approach, that if a tailored message is very appropriately used, then it can have persuasive impact on the lives of people. And media could, or the visual image, visual communication could also support to the humanitarian efforts in complex emergencies like now, even to the extent of helping with reconnection, communication. If we are working in a conflict situation, then There comes the role of media for peace building efforts. And there are several institutions working for this. The international agencies, that of the United Nations, or the non-governmental organizations, academics and research institutions. There are several texts created. And if handled appropriately, the mass media could deliver, or the visual medium could deliver, smart aid information, which can be translated into the kind of knowledge. And the humanitarian work, when it comes to development at the time of crisis, could contribute towards a great cause of reconnecting people. So one needs to focus in mind while preparing any kind of messages, be a journal, be someone, a journalist, or the public or the citizen journalist. They should focus upon the idea of not harming anyone, but reconnecting the people. And media, the third one is media has a role, the visual medium has a role for constructive role. It can counter misconceptions. Now, along with the spread of coronavirus, COVID-19, a terminology is much used, infodemic. There is misinformation, there's fake news, and there is also a disinformation. Many media in our part of the world, the South Asia, I observe very closely the Indian media projection over socio-political and the health issues. That also in Nepal, that many media outlets, that of the TV channels and online media, they have already disseminated that the coronavirus vaccines have already been invented, but the world is waiting for that to come. So media have very specific role at the time of crisis, at the time of humanitarian crisis, to check and balance whether the information sent out is true, because infodemic is more dangerous. The infection of information is more dangerous than COVID-19. So we should take care in mind whether we disseminate information as our role as a journalist, or as a citizen, or a communication campaigner. Finally, careful planning in emergencies is needed. And we have to look into the diversity. Our world is made of the diversity, the linguistic diversity, the cultural diversity, opinion diversities, religious diversity, geographical diversities. And there are sensitivities, sensitivity towards elderly people, sensitivity towards children who need protection, sensitivity towards women, sensitivity towards differently able people. The media has a role to look into this sensitive, the role that media could play, and authenticity of the information that we communicate. It is very easy for anyone to communicate with the visual impact these days with the invent of technology, the mobile communication, mobile journalism, mojo, and anyone can communicate, capture a photograph or capture a video and quickly send it out to the networks. And there are chances that it could become viral and that could spread wrong messages around. And having said that, as I'm asked to also shed light on how journalists prepare themselves for their safety during the time of humanitarian crisis. Yes, I see there are two types of crisis that journalists at the moment are facing: a professional safety crisis that, along with the economic downturn, many media houses in Nepal and elsewhere in South Asia now, journalists are compelled to stay at home instead of working out, and stating that the media houses or the companies and conglomerates, they are facing with the economic crisis. That is one. But at the same time, media content is in question. So it is right time to introspect ourselves, whether the message that we communicate to the larger number of people, the wider audience, we are following with the ethical standards, the ethical journalist code of conduct. There is crisis of credibility to the media messages created, be it in radio or television. And the big crisis is over the visuals disseminated through internet, through online media portals. So we have to introspect ourselves. The messages should be correct, and messages should be sent out and disseminated to the large number of people, ensuring accountability. And that would ensure the safety of journalists. But there are attempts on part of the governments in South Asian countries to suppress media when they are not entitled to serve the establishment of any countries. That's why the media's watchdog role is also in crisis these days. If you dare to question the establishment, then authorities would start attacking upon you. But it can be corrected on part of the journalist. As I said, accountability role of media is very important. And humanitarian, responding to any type of humanitarian crisis on part of journalists requires understanding of the socio-political environment and respecting the diversity that is created within societies. And we focus upon these issues, I think, commemorating the World Humanitarian Day, or any day that links to the humanitarian crisis would be meaningful. I think my time is over. It's more than 3 minutes. And any questions or concerns are welcomed. Over to you, Prashant.
Thank you, Lakshman sir. I simply love the way you express that. An image may express more than 1,000 words. Visuals are very powerful tool for social transformation. At the same time, even though we have differences in the name of caste, creed, religion, okay, we all come together when there is any crisis via visual media. Beautifully narrated, sir. Thank you so much. And there are a few questions from audience side we'll take at the end of the session. Right now, I just ask Smita Venkatesh to take over.
Thank you, Prashant. Thank you. I have the pleasure of introducing the star amongst the stars speakers today, that is Ms. Anjali Ramanna, a practicing human rights advocate, life skill trainer, writer, columnist, and a passionate dramatist. Chairperson of Children Welfare Committee of State Government of Karnataka for Girls in Bangalore Urban Jurisdiction, founder of Astitva Legal Trust, a charitable trust rendering free legal service to women and children, underprivileged HIV-positive women, and also creating legal awareness for women and children. She was awarded the Indira Priyadarshini Mahila Sadhaki Award, the BBMP Women of the Year Award 2010, and she was invited for a discussion on welfare of children at UNICEF. To her credit goes 5 books and 400 articles on rights of women and children, innumerable travelogues, and many radio and television talk shows and dramas. Today, India boasts of having the largest youth population in the world. The tomorrow lies in their hands. How safe is humanity in these young hands? Ma'am, your work with the young hearts very closely. Your perception on how young is a voice of humanity. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Smita, for introducing me in such a beautiful way. Whenever anybody introduces me, I feel my responsibility as one of the stakeholders of humanity is always increased. Thanks again. I take this opportunity not only to share my experiences or my views, but mainly I consider this forum as a learning procedure for me, learning process for me. I'm really humbled to be one of these luminaries. I strongly believe in that who am I determines the world to me. Hence, today I share some of my personal experiences with you to understand the humanity in this world in a better way. When I turned 18, my birthday, my father gifted me with a registration ID of eye donation. At that age, when most of the girls enjoyed costume and cosmetics, I was made to think how human one can be and how mortal the life is. And next, when I turned 25, my dietitian said, Anjali, from now onward, you must eat only to sustain because there will be no growth. When most of the people start earning at that age and eat the food on what fancy about, I was reduced to the concept of sustainability. These are the two major ends of my life, which taught me the lesson of being human. As Mr. Baba Rai said, we shall have to walk extra mile to become human beings. I always believe that we are not just as Homo sapiens, but we are developed or made into human beings. Since I am more keen on understanding and evaluate the language of humanity, and I work with young minds, I chose the topic, how old is the voice of humanity? I have nothing more to say, Smita, but learn through interaction. So I would like to directly go for the interaction. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to be. Thank you, Smita.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, the moral values today have been replaced by consumer value system, bringing forth the concept of nature versus nurture debate. This brings out a very pertinent question. Why is it necessary to culture and nurture young minds to retain humanity?
The answer should be very evident actually. Psychology, the entire life of a human being, mostly determined by the fact is AE. They call it as adverse childhood experiences. Whether we want to retain the humanity or sustain with it, even after our death, it becomes a fundamental responsibility to culture and nurture the minds. From birth till the age of 12 years, a child grows by observing. Between 12 and 15, he grows by what he hears. And between 16 and 18, he grows by experimenting. Then comes the age of 18 to 25. During this phase, young mind delves into a personality by all the experiences he has gained from his birth. This is why we need to provide the young mind whatever we want it to become before the age of 25. That is the importance of culture and nurture young minds.
Yes, ma'am. This brings us to the focus of the nurture aspect. We have seen in the last decades the crime rate by children under the age of 16 years has increased. And if we go by the definition of a child in legal terms, it means that person who has not attained the age of 8 and is not mature to understand, that is not matured enough to understand that what is right and wrong. So in this context, how do you understand why our youths today are crime prone?
See, at this point of time, let me bring some statistics in our discussion, Smita. See, there is terminology called study the statistics. There is a set called age crime curve. When we study this age crime curve, we realize too that youth are not as such crime prone, but a person who has experienced such incidents in his life at his younger age is more prone to commit crime. When a youth below the age of 25 shows such qualities, it is called not as crime but antisocial behavior. But when a person above the age of 25, when he exhibits the antisocial behavior, obviously legally speaking, it is defined as a crime. The reason is 77% of antisocial behavior mindset can be changed, can be rectified, whereas only 5% of crime mind can be removed. Hence, I completely disagree with the saying, the notion that youth are crime prone, young minds are crime prone, most of the crime are committed by youngsters. These are all false notions Knowingly or unknowingly, we have been using these sentences in our conversation, which is making the society to believe in that youngsters are more crime prone, but in reality, it is not.
Means to say that there is a scope here for restorative and reformative justice to youths. So what is your take on it?
Absolutely. See, for example, in a week, as a chairperson of the Child Care Committee, in a week, on an average, I receive 15 cases where youngsters are in romantic relationship and they know. What happens when they are apprehended by the police? The girl below the age of 18, she is always sent to such place where she is expected to restore with the family or to reintegrate in the mainstream society. But boy is always adjudicated. And obviously a POCSO Act, Child Marriage Act, the boy is always punished. Now I need to understand when opportunity is given to a victim to restore and reintegrate to mainstream society, why not opportunity should be given to the youth to restore, reform, adapt, and integrate the mainstream? That is why using my liberty as a chairperson, in most of cases, I evaluating the possibility of reformation, I avoid initiating the effort against NP. Of course, in certain risk crimes, we have to, but using my discretion power, I can always stop police initiating AR against a young boy and allow to a different reform. So I always believe in reforming, restoring justice than making person undergo punishment.
Thank you, ma'am. This is something which needs, I think, more time, and there are so many questions which are coming out. Yes, but it was a very wonderful session with you. You gave us the statistics, and you also gave us a small glimpse of that young minds and how they think. Thank you very much, and we are looking forward for many questions from the chat box for the end of the session, ma'am. Thank you very much, Anjali ma'am. I now hand over to the next moderator, that is Prashant.
Thank you so much, Smita ma'am. I feel today PRCI is really paying a very significant tribute for World Humanitarian Day, because the speakers who we have lined up for the day, who start talking about firstly love human, then they start talking about love nature, then we had a person who spoke about love visuals, and ma'am who significantly curated saying that value your fellow being, which was beautifully narrated. Now I take pride in introducing one of my friend, Tony Michael from Bangladesh, who is a director technical program, communication advocacy and external relations, World Vision, Bangladesh. He's a product of Stanford University. Mr. Tony is a seasoned development communication professional with more than 17 years of experience in development sector. He had collaborated and contributed very significantly with various international organizations like UNDP, UNAIDS, and many more. I just want to give an outside about the topic which is going to discuss today, because very interesting topic is going to cover upon STEM communications. So when we talk about STEM is nothing but science, technology, engineering, mathematics is expected to create critical thinkers, increase science literacy, enable the next generation of innovators. In a quest for the STEM, humanity in terms of empathy, ethics, sensitivity could be taking backseat or long forgotten. Let's listen what Tony Michael opines in this regard. Why do we need humanity in a STEM world? Over to you, Michael, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I mean, it's really inhuman sometimes to get, to talk after all these amazing speakers and this all amazing, topics, because people will losing interest and the calorie level goes down. So I just want to, excite you all. Let us think about the word humanity. Today is a humanitarian day. So humanity, if you take that word, I can see three words within this one word. One is human, and another one is IT. So you talk about STEAM, I mean science and engineering and technology and mathematics. So IT is there, and also Y stands for U. So say for example, I mean it's like humanity and IT and U and human. I mean that kind of human IT U. So it's like it's really really important. So I mean this is really important to understand as a humanitarian organization and as a humanitarian activist. I think I need to spotlight on that aspect that how actually we see the social context, and particularly in this COVID and post-COVID. Say for example, this Zoom call culture that we are having. This is the blessings of technology, right? So it bringing this conversation together. So it has a lot of good intention, lot of good aspect. I mean, we are sitting different part of the world and joining this conversation and sharing our knowledge and expertise. So all this good stuff are there. But at the same time, think about the society that we are living right now, we are much more on the virtual. We learned that okay, how to appreciate each other, how to share things with each other. Think about, I mean, the society that we had 30 years back. I mean, we share. I mean, in the culture of Southeast Asia, I know that. I mean, even if you cook something very good, you share with your neighbors, you share with your external families, you share your happiness, you share your sorrows. And also, if someone in the village, I mean, did something amazing, people start appreciating that person, right? So you see this Facebook, I mean, the social media, we do the same. I mean, we do like, we give a different kind of emotes. I mean, love, like, and that kind of stuff. And also we share. The thing that we look Humanitarian Day, that where exactly the next generation or where exactly this tech savvy generation is going forward. So, and how we will going to survive and what is the culture that we are coming up. So, I mean, particularly if you look at the Southeast Asian context right now, Southeast Asia, we are experiencing the most, I mean, I think the most uh, deadly disasters. I mean, the natural disasters that we had. I mean, look at last 1 year, number of natural disasters happen in India and Bangladesh and Nepal. So we are experiencing that. At the same time, I mean, if you look at the humanitarian crisis in terms of the refugee crisis, I mean, right now we are going through a number of refugee crises, and particularly in this Southeast Asian context, there are a number of. So it means that there are, and also is mostly globally people who donates their precious resources. I mean, $10, $20, $50, right? Apart from the corporate philanthropy or apart from the bilateral donors. So think about the philanthropy. So still there are people in the world who actually care for each other. Sitting in the first world, thinking about the third world, thinking about the developing countries, thinking about the children, thinking about the young people. So I do believe that we need to really, really focus more on how we can bring human touch, how we can bring these human emotions, and how we can promote more human emotions so that even if we are going through a tech savvy generation, even if our next generation who are coming up, who are very much bogged down to the laptop, to the cell phones, who are much more passionate to the softwares, who are much more passionate to the apps. rather than the friends that they have in real life, rather than the family members that they are having in real life, who are much more interested to explore the galaxy rather than the friend of their parent, rather than the mind of their parents, rather than, I mean, sometimes they think that, okay, what is the impact, what is the necessity of giving time, spending time to the parents, spending time with the friends, spending time with the family. Is shaping our mindset. Technology is shaping our emotions, but we as a communicator, we as a leader of communication need to think about how again and again we can bring the human issues, the human emotions more and more, so that in our platforms, in our communications, we can promote more this perspective, this emotions, and the philosophy, so that we can have a STEAM world, we can have a STEAM generation with the emotion, with the humanity. Yes.
Thank you, Michael, sir. Where simply loved it. Even though entire world is going away from the empathical thoughts, somewhere, even on digital platforms, the emojis tries to bring and connect the humanity back to us. It can be love, share, or care. Whatever emoji we are using, it is somewhere expressing our thoughts. Okay, what do we feel about the things happening around? Yeah, beautifully narrated, sir. Thank you so much. And there are a lot
Thank
of
you.
questions, and at the end of the session, we will take over. Now, I request Smita Venkatesh to take over for the next speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Prashant. Thank you. I'm going to introduce to you to one person. Many of you might have not met him, but would have heard about him. And I too I have never spoken to him or met him, but have heard about him highly. And I just made a call to him, to just be ready. You will be the next speaker. And the talk was, it was like I was speaking to somebody I know very well. So this is Mr. Mahantesh G. Kivadasanawar, and to introduce you to him, I start with this quote. I wish to witness persons with disabilities as not just mere passive recipients, but worthy taxpayers and active contributors to the society. This is Mahantesh's life mission. Founder, Managing Trustee of Samarthanam Trust for the Disabled, President of World Blind Cricket, President of Cricket Association for the Blind in India, Member of Advisory Board to the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act 2016, Government of India, a pioneer in social welfare and developmental activities, touching and making a difference in the lives of thousands of disabled persons. Surmounting challenges posed by his visual impairment, he holds a MA, MPhil in English literature, travels around the world to raise funds for his social projects aimed at empowering the differently abled, disabled, and underprivileged people. An epitome of social service. Sir, Mahantesh sir, what is your perception on the context? Service is the language of human spirit.
Hi, Smita Madam. Good evening. Dear Lata Madam, Chairman PRCI, members of PRCI, WCC, YCC. I feel extremely honored to be a part of this wonderful platform on a very, very special and unique day. The entire world, whatever the development and the mankind is striving, I feel it is because of the service. Service is the language of human spirit, is the title I am asked to speak. I also feel very privileged about it, and also would like to appreciate the very eminent co-speaker panel. Each one is so great, so nice, very inspiring. So very nice to be a part of this fantastic speakers panel. As you all know, service has no language, service has no restriction, service doesn't discriminate based on the caste, color, religion, language, anything, whatever. So therefore, I always strongly feel service is one which everyone should imbibe in their life and follow. Personally, if you ask me, I think whatever I am today, whatever many people like me who have certain visual, physical, other challenges, if they have overcome, it is because of many, many selfless people who gave their time, who shared their talent, and many times philanthropists. So all these things, I think, are very essential. So if we go back to our religion, Basavanna, one of the most renowned religious leader, I don't like to say religious leader, social reformer, said, Dayavilla dharma yavudu. He asked, which is the religion which doesn't have kindness? So service is so important to equalize the mankind. Service enables people to come out of their different difficulties, sadness, tragedies, and victims of natural calamities and war ravages. Many of my earlier speakers talked about people, how they are involved in many disasters. So service needs a lot of courage. Service means it is beyond self. Without any expectation, one has to dedicate themselves, and it can cause many disturbances. It can cause casualties also. Earlier, sir mentioned about 2 of the humanitarians were killed by the bomb blast in Iraq, who had gone to serve the people who were in such difficult times. You all know now we are in such pandemic situation. Many people, especially health workers, many social welfare organizations who are responsible, going out on the field and making a difference in the people who are affected. From childhood, I was brought up by a family, big joint family. Though blindness took some time for them to accept, though I was not born blind, typhoid and heavy temperature affected my optic nerves and retina, causing 90% blindness. It took some time for them, but they quickly coped up and decided that they have to accept me as I am. And they also limited their expectations. But with good exposure, never they allowed me to feel blindness was a problem. Yes, it is a challenge, but they taught me to convert this challenge into possibility or opportunity, which I'll talk a little more later. So subsequently, I was admitted to a blind school where I got to meet a lot of other people who had similar disability. That's when I realized I'm not the only person who has visual impairment, but there are many others. This school taught me what is service. This school taught me what is compassion. Subsequently, after my college MA MPhil, along with my friends, we started Samarthanam, which is committed to serve people who need help without disability. So Bhagavan Ramana says, service is the supreme worship of God. Baswan also says, work is worship. And service is the most powerful action of mankind. So service builds compassion, kindness, and one gets tremendous satisfaction when you see smile on someone because of your service. Service is eternal language of human spirit. So I always tell my students, my team, if you get a chance to make some difference in someone's life, you must quickly do that. If you don't do that, someone else will do that and they will get that satisfaction. So there are many organizations who are committed to make a difference. My earlier speaker, Tony, spoke about the humanity, especially World Vision. I am aware of the difference that World Vision is doing. So I personally got motivated by so many such organizations, so many people like Helen Keller, being herself multiple disabled. She could overcome that. How? Because of the teacher. Teachers. Teaching is a noble profession. If the dedicated teacher can make a huge difference in their students. Teachers are ones who lay the foundation. In our ancient India, Gurukul system taught so much about service, especially the ruling class children were taken there because rulers, in the olden days, kings and dynasties. Now, our democratically elected people, they have ample opportunity to serve their people, serve their state, and serve the nation. And many business houses, now they talk about CSR, corporate social responsibility. They invest in social good. That makes huge difference. Like this, service is one which has no boundaries, has no barriers, has one language, that is the human spirit. Service can make huge difference in mankind. Service can make huge difference in people who are affected by many calamities and other things which I said. So with this, I once again appreciate the initiative of PRCI, especially Lata Madam, who is very closely associated with Samarthanam. People like her, especially many who read to me when I was in college, because with my blindness, I could not have read books those days. So a lot of them volunteers and my friends, they read books to me and they took me to different places. So I felt I should continue the legacy of service. I got so much from so many people, from so many organizations, from society. So to return the favor what I have got, the same and more, I should do it for people who need it more. So I leave it here and probably would follow my earlier speaker, Anjali Madam. Would like to have an interactive session with Smita. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, that was, you shared all your achievements and your accomplishments to one and all, whomever you met, started with your family and everybody else. That is very nice. Sir, I have only one question for you. Something which is very significantly highlighting all through your life is that there is nothing that is impossible. Of course, yes, with all the support you got, yes, but your will that nothing is impossible. What would be your definition for the phrase visually impaired or the word blind itself?
Yeah, accept what you are and what you get, and never get defeated, never get demotivated, never get demoralized. Never say die spirit. Try to overcome the challenges, convert your challenges into possibilities. And once they are made possible, opportunities will just come in your way. So grab all of them, share it to people like you, share it to people who need them. And together we can create an equitable society. As you mentioned, my vision is to see people with disability taxpayers, which is completely possible. And blindness, I feel, is just a human diversity. It is definitely a challenge, but everyone has certain challenges. So if you make up your mind, and if the support system is available to you, you can easily overcome any challenges, not only blindness, any other disability. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So nothing is impossible. Yes. I now hand over to our next moderator, that is Mansi. Mansi.
Thank you so much, Smita. Thank you so much for this. Both Smita and Prashant, I think that was very well moderated, crisp, and to the point. And for those of you who are watching, Ms. Smita Venkatesh is a management consultant and EC member of PRCI and the chairperson YCC Bangalore chapter. And Mr. Prashant Venugopal is a research scholar, a professor in journalism, and the secretary of YCC Bangalore chapter. Thank you, both of you. With that, we move on to the next section. Before we start, Dr. Ravi Prakash, request you to please respond if you can hear me. Dr. Ravi Prakash, pinging you for a response, please. Can you hear us?
Yes, please. Yeah, I can hear. Can you all hear me?
Perfect. Yes, we can. Here's a quick introduction to Dr. Ravi Prakash. He is currently working as an associate specialist in intensive care and anesthetics in County Durham and Darlington NHS Trust, and has close to 2.5 decades of experience in the field, with about 17 years with NHS. Previously, he has worked as a cardiac anesthetist at BM Birla Heart Research Center, Calcutta, and also as a lecturer in JJM Medical College, Davangere. After completing his primary medical qualification in JJM Medical College in Davangere, he went on to do MD in anesthetics from Manipal Academy of Higher Education, Mangalore, and has a fellowship in anesthesia from Royal College of Anesthesia, Dublin. He's been a frontline anesthetist in the NHS fight against COVID-19 and has been involved in managing critically ill patients with COVID-19 infections. Just to give you an introduction to the topic, while healthcare workers are often resilient, they are human and they need the same psychological support that others do in terms of turmoil. Let's listen to what Dr. Ravi Prakash has to say about his experience of being a frontline worker. The topic for today is Corona and Humanity, Frontline Workers, Their Thoughts. Welcome, sir. Over to you.
Thank you, Mansi, for introducing me, and thank you all for having me to speak on World Humanitarian Day. This COVID-19 first appeared in Wuhan in December 19, and since then it has created a havoc. We first got to know about COVID entering to UK and spreading this disease and affecting the patient somewhere in February 2020. And since then, we started preparing on a war footing. Basically, our work involved various mock drills, from how to wear the tight-fitting masks to personal protective equipments, and providing the acute care for the patients who are entering into the hospital. We designed various patient flow pathways when they first appear from the emergency department to the wards or the critical care and needing a resuscitation. So our rotas, everything we kind of changed so that people who normally do not work in acute care setup or who do not work in the emergency setup or respiratory wards, there are many specialists who never probably have seen a very sick patient because their specialties are different. They were trained to work in the areas of the need. We resorted to the resilience rota. That means our annual leaves, our casual leaves and study leaves, everything was squashed at that time. So we all kind of volunteered to provide whatever the extra work needed in the hospital based on the necessity. And we converted literally whole of our hospital, different wards, recovery, operating theaters, outpatients, everything was reorganized to create more and more beds. And we segregated the areas even within the hospitals to COVID confirmed base, COVID suspect base, and also non-COVID base, so that we do not mix these patients. And healthcare workers were deployed to areas of need wherever it is needed, not only in the hospital, even in the community. A lot of retired people came back to work, like retired general practitioners, nurses, and retired ambulance drivers, name any, everybody kind of volunteered out of humanity to contribute in whichever way possible to help in combating this. So I mean, what sort of humanitarian help we got? I mean, there were a lot of local charities and public also gave enormous support. The kind of attention we got, the kind of gratitude they showed because we were risking our lives to treat these patients was unprecedented. Social media was also a key element here in mobilizing the workforce to areas of need, whether it is in the community or in the hospital. And they also, through the social media, like in WhatsApp or Facebook or Instagram, there were a lot of charity appeals to raise the funds to get the essentials, and a lot of small industries which were closed during that period due to the quarantine, they changed their modus operandi to provide a lot of essentials for us, the healthcare workers. Basically, at one point, there was so much of shortage of personal protective equipments and 3M mask, or even the surgical mask and non-surgical mask and disinfectants. So even everything was manufactured locally to provide for the local hospitals and the communities in an unprecedented way. They gave basically free. And also public also understood the importance of social distancing and quarantining, and then they started helping each other and helping particularly the vulnerable people who are stuck in the nursing homes, particularly aged ones who could not go out, and people literally dropped their essentials by buying the stuff, buying all the commodities in the supermarkets and dropping out at their doorsteps. And charity, again, there was unprecedented amount of charity amount was collected through the social media, as I said. I mean, within the norms of the quarantine, people did get a lot of funding generated. I mean, there is one centurion, you probably have heard in the social media, Captain Tom Moore. He, by just doing 25 laps within in his garden, 100 laps in the 25-yard garden, he generated almost close to 33 million pounds. What are the potential problems of the COVID? Basically, countries that are already struggling with the poverty, conflict, or natural disaster, they are going to be basically hit very hard by this COVID-19. Governments, medics, and aid workers, they're all scrambling basically to prepare, but there are daunting challenges here. After forcing China to confine almost 750 million people to their homes, this virus has brought rich countries to stand still, and it has overwhelmed all our hospitals. Most of the hospital beds are in shortage. I mean, that was the situation even in the Western countries, and I do see in the media that even in India, a lot of the hospitals, there is an acute shortage of the beds, particularly in the critical care area. So weakest and poorest countries, weakest and poorest places, they make the fertile ground for this disease. When it comes to crowded slums and informal settlements, refugee camps, they are the most dangerous settings. That's why the United Nations has called it as the most challenging crisis ever we faced since World War II. There are a lot of organizations, charitable organizations, United Nations, European Union, G20 Policy Forum, 20 leading countries, UNICEF, WHO, they're all still struggling to cope. Even in UK, we have consortium of British humanitarian agencies, and to name few, we have Action Aid, Action Against Hunger, Care International, Christian Aid. All these have scrambled all their personnel to go to the areas of the need, but they are facing a lot of challenges. Basically, they have to juggle their staff welfare because everybody is basically scared about themselves, scared about bringing back the COVID back to their families, to the near and dear ones. And there are problems with the logistics because of the air restrictions, travel restrictions, and a lot of industries have been closed because and they couldn't maintain the business continuity. That means they are cash starved and donors are hard to find. There are a lot of challenges like that. Basically, these agencies needed to work in developing low-tech approaches to get the personal protective equipments, infection prevention and control, and also a low-tech solution to do the COVID testing to enormous number of people. These flight bans and lockdown, these are basically can be somehow managed by transferring these aid agencies by liaising with the local agencies or by a tie-up. So this needs to be balanced. There has to be a balanced way of working between the international partners and the local partners. And social distancing has to be a top priority in whatever they do. Places where there's a crowded population, very poor sanitation, very low level of basic health within the community, very poor disease surveillance, and very poor social health services. They come in to make this virus extraordinarily dangerous. We need to be aware of that. And also lockdown It has a secondary impact on the jobs and food production and trade. And these NGOs, all these things, they have got a duty of care towards their staff and volunteers. I mean, yes, staffers, otherwise, if they are not looked after, they are not going to come to the work with more enthusiasm. They could be reluctant to get involved unless they are looked after well. They would be fearful of their health, safety, and family. And frontline aid workers, naturally, they will be exposed more to this virus than anybody else in the community. We were about 10 times more prone to get this COVID infection compared to anybody else in the general population. What is basically needed here? What we need is protecting the most vulnerable, and that should be the top priority. We must remember and cherish our deeper humanity when we care for the elderly, when we care for the sick, and when we care for the needy. That should be our motto. I mean, this is what exactly is happening in most of the countries. I mean, selflessly, doctors, nurses, and other healthcare professionals, they're all working, risking their lives. This deeper humanity must be spread everywhere. It needs to be spread to every street, every neighborhood, every country. Then only we can defeat this virus. I mean, we can defeat this virus with our science and technology, but also we need a compassion and humanity. Without compassion and humanity, we are unable to defeat this virus. There is no point in just saving very few lives just because they are wealthy, they can afford. We need to protect everyone. We need to look after everyone. We need to treat all the sick patients, irrespective of where they are come from, what is the cultural background, what is their religious background, where they are from, which country they belong. It should not matter. Everyone must be protected, because if we leave behind few people, they can spread, and there may be second wave, third wave. We don't know what is the course of this disease, where it is heading. We don't know whether the vaccines are going to be effective unless and until we try. Once the vaccine is ready, and up until we get the herd immunity, this is going to stay, and we need to learn to live, knowing that yes, we are going to get affected, and there is a 3%, almost 3.4% death rate with this COVID. Basically, we should all look after each other. We should try and do whatever we can to minimize the spread. We should go by the norms which are, I mean, I can understand that the guidance keep changing. That is based on how this virus is spreading in different areas. These guidances keep changing. In UK, there was, particularly when it was at peak in April, May sort of time, there was a national lockdown, and slowly in a phased manner, they lifted these restrictions. But even though the restrictions are eased, people are not going out and then congregating, and they are very sensible. They are wearing the mask wherever it is possible, particularly in the closed spaces. They are maintaining the social distancing at least 2 meters away from any another person. They are only congregating within the family or within their family bubble, and do not mix with the strangers. And that's how we can contain the virus. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much, Doctor. Words can never express our gratitude for all that you have done and continue to do. At this juncture, I want to thank your entire fraternity for being amazing, compassionate, and absolutely brilliant human beings. Thank you so much for that. With that, we come to the end of this session. So what I want to do is I want to go back to each of the speaker and ask them the one takeaway from this, please. We'll start with Mr. Bava. So quickly, if you could tell us about one takeaway that you have, please.
Appreciating the time, and also I have to switch over to another webinar. I must give my takeaway is that to be a humanitarian, you must enhance your AQ. Gone are the days when IQ, EQ, SQ used to be important. AQ stands for adversity quotient. You must enhance your adversity quotient to be humanitarian. That's my take.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Moving on to the next speaker, Lakshman Dutt. Sir, are you around?
Yeah, I'm around. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
it's wonderful listening all of you, and very great insights on how can we, at least fight with the disaster and the pandemic, citing out the roles of different stakeholders, including the communicators and journalists. That is the takeaway from this webinar. It was really wonderful
Thank you,
listening.
sir. Thank you so much, sir. Moving on to Mr. Narul Lashkar, please.
Yeah, it was a great experience. I would like to first thank all the people who worked for the webinar, the moderators and everyone who worked from behind in the green room. My takeaway from this webinar is that environment, it's not somebody else's job. It's everybody's job.
Right, sir. Truly said. Thank you so much for that, sir. The next speaker, Srimati Anjali Ravana, please.
Yeah, above all, let me extend my gratitude for making me be here with among such great luminaries. I obviously today it is an opportunity for me to realize at again words of Martin Luther King that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice done everywhere. So I think this would be my take home to become more matured and more refined human being. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for that. The next speaker, Mr. Tony Michael Gomes, please.
Thank you. Thank you, organizer, for this such a wonderful initiative. It was, for me, my personal takeout is really, really interesting and innovative, insightful, and impactful. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. The next speaker, Mr. Mahantesh GK.
Yeah, would like to congratulate the organizers. Punctuality, started on right time, and you have kept most speakers on time, and the moderation is also to the point. And to conclude, I always believe communication plays a very vital role to serve. So my belief is further strengthened. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Ravi Prakash. Sir, are you around? So I think you're on mute. I'm sorry, sir. I think you're still on mute. I request the technical team to please unmute Dr. Ravi Prakash. So you're still on mute. I'm so sorry. This looks like a technical. Sir, you can hear us? Sorry, sir. Looks like there's a technical glitch, and we're not able to hear you at all. Sorry about that. Okay. Because we are short of time, I think we're going to take very less questions. So we have one or two questions that we'll be taking, the first two questions that have come in. How does media bring harmony to develop humanitarian outlook? That's one question from Pradipta Kumar Panda. Any speaker who would want to take it up, please? How does media bring in harmony to develop humanitarian outlook?
May I come in?
Okay.
All right. If media wants to talk of humanity, first and foremost thing is that they themselves should be humanitarian. And media are the role models. Whenever there is a crisis, the first action shall be to demonstrate humanitarian concern, then the actual concern. That is the role of media is very important. I'm sorry I butted into the question, but it was sticking in mind that I must convey that. In the crisis time, the role of media is very important, and they must always attempt to the humanitarian concept first, than to the actual whatever is happening. Yes, please.
Perfect, sir. Thank you so much for that. The next question is to the speaker, Mr. Pant. Is media commercialization made insensible towards the humanity? Can we get any solution for this situation? And this question is being asked by Ms. Manjula, Assistant Professor, Department of Journalism, Hassan. I'll repeat the question, sir. Is media commercialization made insensible towards humanity? Can we get any solutions for this situation?
Well, when you look after the philosophies, surrounding how media should work around, it depends upon the national political identities, how countries are set up within political systems. But yes, the commercialization, too much commercialization, it can be considered one of the problems that when we seek the role of media during the time of humanitarian crisis. But yes, there should be a very clear demarcation on who should invest in media. This is right time to discuss the investors, the media owners, understand the way media outlets should communicate, because when the humanitarian aspect of the messages is forgotten by the owners, not by the editors, it often happens, and there are questions and debates whether too much commercialization of the media content could hamper the way we communicate. So yes, in some extent, too much commercialization is some or other way hampering the way we communicate for the great cause of humanity. I agree on that.
Perfect, sir. That's well summed up. Thank you so much for that. I know there are many, many more questions coming in for all the speakers, but due to lack of time, I think we're going to move on. I just want to tell this to all the speakers. There are many people here on the chat box who are thanking all of you for having such a lovely, I'm just going to read out. The sessions are really very interesting and informative. It gives us a lot of food for thought on World Humanitarian Day. Thank you for bringing in the concept of restorative justice. I think it is very important for societies to understand this better and train the legal system in facilitating this painstaking processes. The sessions are really very interesting and informative. It gives us a lot of food of thought. Thank you for bringing in very important aspect of humanity, being human, for which we are always struggling to find a balance. Arts and media can play a positive role in restoring our emotional expressions. We have plenty of comments coming in like this. I think it's really wonderful to see this. With this, I pass on the spotlight to Lata ma'am. Ma'am, are you around?
Yes, I'm Mansi.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. What a wonderful session it was, turned out to be great. Thank you. Now let us hear the views from our senior members. First, I'll ask Jairam sir.
Oh, you want me to speak?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, sir. Senior members.
Amazing, amazing. I've heard all the speakers. Fantastic. Started with our Babaji. Excellent. And then, of course, Mr. Lakshman, and then our Bangla man, Mr. Ravi Prakash, and what's her name? I forgot her name. And our Nurulji, and what's her name? I forgot her name.
Mr. Tony.
No, Tony, yes, of course, I know. No, the lady who spoke very well.
Anjali.
Mr. Pant.
Mr. Pant, of course, I told already. I said Lakshman.
Yes.
And then Anjali, madam, she also spoke well. And there is nothing, we are all human beings. I know we have to do something, some social justice for everyone. This is the day we have to take some pledge that we will do some justice to the social cause. Particularly PRCNs, WCC members, and YCC students, young students should learn something out of this webinar and move on to the further step, because they are the people, young generation, they are the next people who are going to lead us. I'm sure that they would have taken something out of it. Excellent speakers. You have chosen people in such a way that nothing is left, to discuss with. Very nicely done. and particularly Anindita spoke well on WCC. Mr. Ashish Tile spoke on PRCI. Even Bita spoke very well on what do you call WCC and also YCC. Sorry. And then Manasi, as a moderator, she did her job very well. I'm very happy overall. Smita and our Prashant, everyone, and our behind the scene, Mr. Sharma ji and Saurabh Jaira, they did a wonderful job. Without any fault, we have done this webinar. I'm sure that many more like this will come in the future. Till as long as this COVID the problem is there, we will have more and more systematic and meaningful webinars henceforth. Good luck. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your inspirational words, sir. Now over to Geeta ma'am. Geeta ma'am.
Oh yeah. Yes, Lata, I think everything has been told by our Chairman Emeritus MB Jairam. What's more there to add? What we found is it is more people-centric work. Caring for people in an emergency can be done from anywhere in the world. We can play a role in bringing hope to all those who are seemingly hopeless situations. From working with us, making a donation, raising awareness, committing to pray, so many things can be done. So this has to be a movement, and in fact, each one of us, and we urge each one of us to get involved into this. And we had amazing speakers today in this webinar, and then I would say the entire concept, I need to thank Dr. T.S. Lata for choosing this particular day. When she said this International Humanitarian Day should be celebrated in the form of having a webinar, a Zoom webinar, conceptualizing and coordinating with the speakers, deciding the theme, a really hard work, and with your teammates, Dr. T.S. Lata, Chairperson, Bangalore chapter. Excellent.
Yeah, she's behind it. Yes.
Yes, the person behind it. No, we never have to forget the person who holds the candle always silently behind. And that is why a line of gratitude. And Pashupati and Saurabh Jairam, thanks. Every time when we begin the seminar, we are so scared. My God, we have our heart in our hands as to it should go on perfectly. And thank you so much. And thanks to the entire team. It is with great, immense of gratitude we thank all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you, Lata. Thank you, Lata. Sorry, I forgot your name.
No,
you are
sir.
the
No.
ringleader. You are the ringleader, and then Renukanand also there. He is summing up at the fag end, of course.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
Now
Thank
over
you,
to
Smita.
now over to Vinay Kumar, sir, our national president. Vinay Kumar, sir.
Okay, yes. Can you listen me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. It was an excellent program, and the speakers you selected, the right people. Actually, I have become more humane, and the message from this webinar is, all of us should be ambassadors of humanity, and we should spread the message across, and we should create an awareness among our friends and our groups, so that this can be a movement for humanity. That is all I have to say. I congratulate all the organizers, especially the chairman of the chapter, Dr. Lata, and Saurabh, the coordinator. All of us. I am not naming everyone because of the shortage of time. I am not naming everyone. My good old friend Lakshman is here. So special thanks, Lakshman ji. And Nurul ji did a fantastic talk. And also Babaji, all of them. It was really exceptional. All the talks were really exceptional. And I don't have words to explain. So thank you very much for this webinar, and it is a role model webinar for PRCI. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your wonderful words. Sir. Thank you.
Kudos to everybody. Special kudos to Mr. Jairam. His spirit is beyond imagination. I have seen you on the ground, now off the ground also. You are not leaving anybody at ease. Thank you very much. And the efforts which Dr. Lata has made, I have attended many seminars, many webinars. The pain she has taken, making a separate group for coordination, doing it preparatory work, I was really expecting that it has to go very well. So thank you very much and wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Now, Mr. Ramendra, Chairperson, Roorkela Chapter, please share your thoughts, sir.
Yeah.
Mr. Ramendra.
Thanks a lot. I'm very rarely at a loss for words. But today I'm completely tongue-tied at this amazing, awesome interaction. The speakers were absolutely wonderful. I would like to share one thought. Mr. Bawa and all the other speakers mentioned one word, empathy. Now, Barack Obama has said that our society suffers from an empathy deficit. And it's so true. In Denmark, they have empathy classes for 6 to 16-year-olds where they teach them teamwork and collaboration, not competition like we teach in our Indian schools. And Denmark is one of the happiest countries in the world consistently. India on the index of happiness is very much at the lowest level. So I request Mr. Jairam sir, the soul of PRCI, the soul of communication, to take a lead. Can we propose the introduction of empathy classes in our schools so that every day becomes a humanitarian day? Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We have our expert pool and our internship committee. I'll put it on to them. Let them discuss with the universities and let us see. We will definitely take it forward. I have taken your suggestion. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Jairam sir, before going to that, it will be very good that we will have a dedicated webinar like this on empathy itself. And
Yes,
then
sir.
we should design
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We will prepare for that. Definitely.
Yes.
Maybe I'll take another 20-25 days and we'll come out with the
good.
Pakka webinar one.
Right.
I'll ask our Vinay Kumar to finalize that. Thank you, sir. I'll invite all you Nepal people and Bangladesh people also. They're not left out. They're part of WCC, and we forgot to tell that our Lakshman is the chairperson of our Nepal chapter. He is doing very well there in Nepal, and like Bangla is also having lot of webinars I found, and we are going to have one more chapter in Bangladesh soon, and Bhutan also. I think Anindita was telling about this. Yeah, very nice development. We will all unite it together and work as a team, sir. This is what our ambition is. We are there. We are there. Okay.
Well, thank you, Mr. Jairam and Binayji and all. Yes, I would like to thank all of you for inviting me. And I want to share with you that we are also organizing very regular webinars, and I would be happy to have some of you in our webinars.
Kindly.
My friend, my colleague Aarti is also here. So you'd be sending.
Yeah, I saw Aarti and some more people from Nepal and Bangla also.
In the link. Please stay in touch, and we are regularly organizing webinars related to communications and media in our platforms, which are very effective with good feedback.
Yeah, our chairman from Kolkata, Mr. Biswajit is also here, and Ravindran, our senior vice president, is also here. I saw them.
There are many known faces actually. We met in
chairman.
Bangalore last time.
Yeah.
Good,
all of them are here.
Very good, yeah.
Yeah, Ashish.
Let us know, who want to speak on issues that we set around.
Yeah,
we'll be sending the information in our network, that of WhatsApp and Facebook page and emails as well. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Just
is Ravindran is there? Please find out.
Ravindran sir. Ravindran sir.
Mukherjee, our Biswajit.
No, sir.
I think after that they would have left anyway.
Yes,
I'll convey the message to them. They will conduct some webinars where all of us can meet again, including Bawaji. Don't forget.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
As stated by Mark Twain, kindness is the language which the deaf can hear and the blind can see. Now, time to acknowledge and place on record a word of appreciation. Over to Renuka. Over to Renuka Nanda.
Yeah, well, madam, thank you very much. Thanks is a six-letter word only, but there is a word of meaning in it. That is what I wish to convey on behalf of PRCI and YCCI. I express my heartfelt thanks to distinguished panelists who have participated in today's webinar. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ravi Prakash Hudigeri from UK. Thank you, Mr. G.S. Baba from New Delhi. Thank you, Mr. Neural Laskar from Guwahati. Thank you, Mrs. Anjali Ramanna, Mr. Lakshman Datta from Nepal, Mr. Mahantesh GK, and Mr. Tony Mekel from Bangladesh. Yep. It was a pleasure to have you, sir and madam, on this webinar. I would like to thank our national and international audience who have logged in today's webinar from the different Indian cities and international cities. And you are the consistent source of support from my thanks to the students who are from the Young Communicators team. Thank you, Mr. M.B. Jairam sir, Chairman Emirates PRCI. Your support and presence makes us stronger. Thank you, Dr. Vinay Kumar sir, National President PRCI. Thank you, Geeta Shankar ma'am. You are evergreen youthful next door of friends. And thank you so much for you being here. Thank you, Mr. Jay Prakash Rao, our South Region chairperson. I would like to thank all our chapter chairpersons and special thanks to Anita Sinha and Ashish Talia. Thank you so much to all national executive heads, zonal chairmen, and PRCI fraternities. The entire webinar had technical support from our Mangalore chapter chairperson, Mr. Pashupati Sharma. Thank you very much, Pashupati ji. Well, my dear friends, this webinar today on International Humanity Day had a lot of hard work and put in by Dr. Lata TS, our Bangalore chapter chairperson, who had coordinating entire work. Thank you, Lata madam.
Thank you.
A team of making successful webinar. Thanks to moderators Manasi, Pallavi, Prashant, Gita, and AC member. I would like to thank our YCC coordinator, Mr. Saurabh Jairam. Thank you very much, sir, for this wonderful technical coordination. And I, H.M. Renukananda, VC of Bangalore chapter, signing up. Thank you once again, and hope you all see you all soon. Over to Dr. Lata madam.
Thank you, Renukananda. Thank you so much. We trust that in these turbulent times, this webinar would make a great significance in planting seeds of hope in the hearts of people. Thank you, our team, Pallavi, Smita, Mansi, Saura, Pashupati, Prashant, Renukananda, Beeta, Ramkrishna, and all the EC members. Special gratitude to Jairam sir, Geeta ma'am, Vinay sir, JP sir, and our wonderful speakers. Thank you so much, sir. Thanks a lot. Heartfelt thanks from Team PRCI, sir. Thank you, Ashish ji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you.
So much.
Thank you very much.
So kind of you. Thank you.
Thank you and good night.
Thank you, sir.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you. Bye. Thank
Good
you.
night, everyone.
Well, thank you.
Wonderful
Good night.
webinar.
Bye-bye.
Wonderful webinar.
Thank you, sir.
And
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.